Welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathryn. Today is episode 3 of the Crime of the Day. I am doing a crime of the day during the week as much as I possibly can. If you know me, you know there will be days that are skipped, but for as much as I possibly can, when I am available after work, I am recording for you a crime of the day. Today, I want to circle back a little bit to the Kiely Rodni case. The Kiely Rodni case came to a tragic ending today. Now, we know law enforcement has not confirmed that it is her body, but they have a process. We know that. They cannot just look at her and say, oh, yeah, it's her. There has to be documented medical examiner information, autopsy, at anything that is an untimely death like that. So they have to wait for the actual legal reply. Law enforcement confirmed there was only one person, one body in that car. So until we hear anything differently, I'm going to continue to believe that this was just a terrible decision that led to a tragic accident. And that accident cost Kiely her life. Adventures with Purpose, they have stated often that they don't take active cases that are suspected to be foul play. Now, law enforcement is not going to come right out and tell you that it's not foul play, but Adventures with Purpose, they do not just drop everything to get involved in some kind of a nefarious case. Their job is to go recover people that have their automobiles they've driven into the water some way, shape, or form. Now, in the end, some of these probably were nefarious that they've found, but in my opinion, and from the day I heard about this case of Kiely, and I looked at that waterway that surrounded where they were partying, I said, I believe she's in that water. And I still was not even surprised that she was, and very close to the campground, which again makes me believe that this was just a tragic, terrible accident made by her making a very poor decision and those around her helping her make a poor decision by not calling her mom or getting someone else to take her home or calling her an Uber or whatever you can do. A lot of those close to Kiely say she would never, ever drink and drive. Well, teenagers say that. But she also told her mother that she was a designated driver. So she did lie. And I'm not saying that she's a bad person for lying to her mom because teenagers do that. I raised 4 teenagers, believe me. They all had their share of moments of lying for whatever reason. Oftentimes, I was able to catch that really fast because they're terrible liars sometimes. But other times, I'm sure they got away with things that I have no idea about to this day. I mean, I was a teenager once. I lied. I was a good kid. I got good grades in school. I graduated. I went to college. But I did lie to my mom when I was a teenager about where I was going and who I was with at times. I didn't do drugs, never did, even though sometimes they were done right in front of me. I never did them. Did I drink? Yep, I did. But, we're talking a long time ago for me. But teenagers have been teenagers since the beginning of time. Teenagers are still teenagers. And their brains aren't finished developing at 16. So when you're intoxicated, you make poor decisions. Why else would people that have parties, adults that have parties, ask everyone to leave their keys? Give me your keys, collect the keys, collect the keys. You know why? Because sometimes another person needs to help that driver think about the decision they're making, the decision they're willing to make while intoxicated. Like I said, she was 16. Her decision-making process in the middle of being intoxicated was probably way off kilter at that moment. In my opinion, she most likely made a very poor, impulsive decision, and that was to drive, and it cost her her life. Now, her friend Sammy, that everybody's been like, Sammy's stories changed. Sammy this, Sammy that. Sammy doesn't sound right. Sammy says she's the last person. How does she know she was the last person? I said that. How does Sammy know she was the last person to talk to Kiely? But when you really think about it, yeah, Sammy had inconsistencies in her story. Yep. And she also was at the party. And she also is a teenager. And she also most likely was intoxicated herself.
We have started to hold teen to teen talks, which is where teens are able to come and talk to us as facilitators and just able to be there without the pressure of parents, the pressure of media, the pressure of adults and police, so that they feel more comfortable talking with another teen to come forward and maybe share some information that they were scared to before this.
Yeah, so we've been trying to move to get closer to the areas where the other teenagers that were at the party have been for these teen talks. And the one that we just had in Tahoe City was by far like the biggest showing of kids that we've had. We probably had somewhere between like 50 and 70 kids show up. And they all, like, everybody helped us. All the information that we got was good. And
It helped us move
yeah,
further.
yeah, we've really made progress with the information that we've gotten.
Yeah, so we're planning on having as many of these as it takes to get in contact with anybody who may have been at the party. Whether that means we have to travel to Reno, to Incline, to South Tahoe, wherever we can to talk to kids. We're offering rides now. So for kids who may not be able to get out, we're asking parents to allow their kids to attend these meetings as it is crucial to this. And we will do anything. We offer food, we offer snacks. Every interviewer is comfortable and a safe person to go to, and we're not trying to get anybody in trouble. We're just trying to get more information.
And with the help of the community, we're going to find her, and everybody has been incredibly supportive. And that we are going to find Kiely with the help of our community, but
And
only with
anybody
the
else.
help of our community.
Think about drunk texting. You forgot what you said. Oh my gosh. People talk about it all the time. Oh, I text that after I drank. Oh my gosh, take my phone away from me. You forget what you do when you're partying and having fun and drinking. She may have gotten her story a little bit inconsistent because her memory was a little foggy from drinking and partying herself. And that is a fact. Your memory is not absolutely clear when you are drinking. They've done scientific studies on that. So, as much as everyone wants to think that Sammy is someone lying and has something to hide, I personally feel like she was most likely in a poor state of mind as well. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, who these kids were all drinking. Parents and people are telling them not to talk. People aren't coming forward. What's going on? What do they have to hide? Well, think about it. Who bought these kids the alcohol for that party? Probably young adults and maybe even some parents. And are you going to stand up and be like, "Oh yeah, I bought the kids the alcohol for the party and now there's a missing kid." If you're a 21-year-old that did it or a 22-year-old that did it or 23, Sammy's in college. I'm sure there were college age kids there that can buy alcohol and can drink. And probably some kids had parents. It's a safe place. Buy me some alcohol. Back in my day, we were allowed to drink at home. We weren't allowed to leave, but we were allowed to drink at home. And you know what? It was not the forbidden fruit in my world, in my life. And it was just a normal part of things. My dad was raised in Greece. They drank it. Like they would have a glass of wine at dinner as kids way back. My dad he'd be in this close to 90 right now. No, he would be 90 right now. People are raised different ways in different cultures, and not everything is the forbidden fruit like it is. Clearly, it's the forbidden fruit if you're going to get behind a car and drive. People that bought the alcohol, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, parents, whoever, they were probably really scared and did not want to be held responsible for providing alcohol to minors. And I think that was probably a big part of that mass silence. And law enforcement never said that Sammy had a text or call at 12:36. That came from Sammy. but they did say the last ping was around 12:33 a.m. In my opinion, odds are that coverage in that campground, cell coverage, was spotty. There could have been a delay in Sammy's text arriving or being delivered. I was living up in Oregon, which is just north of there, quite a bit north of there, but north of there. When I was living up in Oregon, and we would drive to the coast from inland Oregon, so Medford, Grand Pass area, drove straight across the state through the redwood forest. I had no signal in my car, none, in the middle of the forest. So signal was probably extremely spotty, if anything. So texts, calls, delays, not sent. Often my sister lives in the middle of a freaking regular suburban area. And oftentimes when I text her, it says not sent. She's like, oh, I'm in a bad spot. I'm in a bad spot in my house. I'm in a bad spot in my neighborhood. So I'm driving. I'm almost at my house. I'm in a bad spot. So that happens too. So there could have been a delay getting those texts or whatever. The communication was delivered. And again, memories about time can be extremely foggy. Kiely's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, Jagger, whoever he is, made a heartfelt post on his Instagram. And at this point for me, unless law enforcement comes up with some facts and says they suspect foul play, until they say that, I'm going with what we do know. And what we do know is there was a sweet little young girl, 16 years old, who was drunk, partying with a lot of people, and had her car with her and wound up in the water just off the shore. And it's a tragic, tragic, tragic ending to a beautiful life. So thank you again for joining me on the Crime of the Day. I'm Kathryn. If you're new, please think about subscribing. And whoever listened to this, please hit that like button. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you soon.